Just a heads up.
Oh, he is on the move. Grant is on the move.
Folks.
He's moving. He's moving. Now his lights are off. Oh boy. Peanut butter is not safe.
No, bro, where's Raleigh? Nobody knows.
Yeah. Yep. And this is the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast. We have reached, Ethan, stand up, please.
Oh, how fitting.
We have reached episode 84 as he shoots the moon.
Packer Nation. Fuck you.
Which is not a disgusting act by Randy Moss. It was beautiful. I think everybody in this podcast shed a tear when he did that for how beautiful it was.
I'm still upset with Joe Buck to this day for that awful commentary he had.
He's pathetic, truly.
It was. I think it was because Chris Collinsworth was there still, and it was messing up his game. Yeah,
I forgot they did that whole
They
did that 3-man booth for a while. What a disaster that was.
Yeah, well, and I don't even know if Troy was in the booth that game though.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember anything from that game besides the great moon of what would have been January of 2005. But
yep.
I just remember.
I know he went off.
Joe Buck being a little pussy. That's just a disgusting, disgraceful act. How can you do that? How could you not do that? So it's okay when the fans can do it, where they can show their extremely wide, mainly white, probably dirty assholes. But when Moss fakes it, then we have an issue. That's not cool. Come on now.
Why did I?
It's a fair question. Is Joe Buck racist?
Is he a self-hating white guy?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, no, he wouldn't be a self-hating white guy because he was okay when the Packer fans do it.
Oh.
Yeah, so
he is from the state of Missouri and St. Louis.
And St. Louis. Yep. Ethan, it says that your browser is preventing recording. Are you able to refresh your page? I don't know.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah. Now, so Grant,
what an absolute
you had
shame
another.
That is.
Did you ever figure out if your sister were part of the adult diaper club?
From what I know, they were not a part of the adult diaper club, which is an absolute shame. But catch this. They got tickets right around the 50-yard line at US Bank Stadium and like the Vikings private VIP seating area. So catch this. In their section, they had their own restaurant, their own bathroom, their own private little bar, and tables they could sit at and eat their food.
So this is your sister?
Yeah. The seats they got, they just stumbled upon on Ticketmaster. Happened to be the VIP area where they could sit and go to the bathroom and drink whatever they want, and not have to fight the crowd. So I don't know how they did that. I mean, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, and this has to be one of those instances.
Yeah, my boss said it was a shit show.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, I believe it. I was seeing like stories and Snapchats from people that were there, and it looked hectic. Probably a lot of good-looking women, but
yeah.
And then on Saturday, it looked like it was when the concert ended. It was a downpour.
Correct. It did rain on that night.
Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Which day did they go?
The downpour.
Oh.
Saturday. Yeah, Saturday night / Sunday morning, whatever you want to call it. Whenever she technically got off stage.
Okay. Did you guys didn't have any inclinations of the last minutes to go? Ethan, you weren't sick of moving to that would have been a nice housewarming present to Hannah, is get her some Taylor Swift tickets.
I think she would have been pumped.
I
so
know
why didn't you do it, you coward?
I didn't feel like I spent enough moving, and just I paid kind of a little time and a half rent or 1.5 times rent. So as great as Hannah is, there's also a thing we call a budget. And it unfortunately does not include Taylor Swift tickets this month.
I think you're just a bad boyfriend.
Well, Ethan, so here's the thing is, if you don't have the money, the bank always has money. That's
I could just hold them on stage. This is a fair point.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Exactly.
This is my thing. You get the tickets in the middle of June. Your credit card statement ends the first week of July. That puppy's not due until August 1st. You got 6
there
weeks.
You go.
You got 6 weeks to pay it off.
And it's if it's a credit card, you don't even have to pay it all at once either. It's that's what a credit is for.
I mean, this sounds like how credit card debt racks up in this country, but that's fine.
That's a myth.
It's a myth. It's a folktale. It's the government's way of trying to hide an eye about how people are going to start paying student loans again.
Who would have thought? Us, the three guys. We're not talking ball. We're your personal finance coaches. We're getting you out of or into debt. You guys can be the judge or decide. But I think this is sound financial advice.
What, Dylan? You're
Whoa.
28. You're 28 years old. You have a house. Ethan's living in a nice new apartment. I mean, I'm not doing shy on cash, so people should listen to us.
They should. Exactly.
We're doing just fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I live across the street.
We're somehow
I live across the
surviving.
street from horse racing. How cool is that? I can go bet on some sick ponies. I might buy a stake in one. Who knows?
Exactly. Ethan's
There
better
you
than
go.
us. He's going to be drinking his wine, smoking cigars, wearing big
On my
hats.
nice balcony.
No socks when he dresses up. I mean, come on.
Shoes or pants that go to your shins.
Him.
Show off those.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the one thing I'll never be able to understand is the pants that don't even cover up
Calf.
the bone at the
Yeah.
bottom of your
Ankles.
foot.
It's disgusting, honestly.
It's like you see someone's Achilles tendon. It's like I want to hockey skate that thing and tear it. It's
Ankle.
stupid. I should not be able to see that when you're wearing pants.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's makes sense. Makes sense
He's
to me.
speechless. Ethan, we've done it. He's speechless.
Me either. Yeah, I had a family reunion last weekend. I can confirm my Ohio State relatives did cancel the one last year because they did not think Michigan would go into Columbus and win. Thought they could run away from me and hide from me. I was there. Of course, I was wearing a Michigan shirt. A little bit subtle, but I made sure they knew I had the one that Barstool put out. It's got like the maize and blue Barstool logo, and then on the back it's got the Michigan player planting the flag on the state
That's
of
pretty
Ohio.
good.
And thank you. And I my one cousin goes, "Yeah, I saw that shirt," and I was like, "What do you mean? This is all it is?" And I'm like, "Oh, wait, is there something on the back?" And I start turning around and spinning. It's like, "Oh, I forgot that was even back there."
What are the odds I picked that shirt out for that last week?
It was at the top of my dresser.
What are the odds? I mean, who would have thought?
And it was similar to when the Raiders beat the Chiefs a few years back. I just happened to have a Raiders Charles Woodson shirt on the top of my dresser that I needed to wear as an undershirt. I mean, the coincidences. You can't make this
You're gonna
stuff
find
up,
the
folks.
Gophers beat Michigan in like 3 months.
It's uncanny.
Not gonna happen.
Boone's saying hi.
We got a guarantee,
Boone.
folks. That's a Charles Barkley guarantee right there. From
Yep,
Mr.
I'm
Dylan
bookmarking
Gress.
it right now.
That's not
I'm
good.
bookmarking it.
When we put the Charles Barkley guarantee on there, there's a 47% chance that you're not going to be right, Dylan.
It's okay. Ethan's the one that said it. I said it's not gonna happen.
It's just gonna be such a shame when we ruin your college football playoff hopes.
Well,
there's plenty of games left.
don't worry, JJ McCarthy will do that
Exactly.
himself. He's good at that.
Throw Justin Wally a nice old pick six late in the game for the icer.
Couple
Maybe.
of them. Oh boy.
Big horn frog
Oh, yeah.
people over here. Hey, Dylan, can I finally get something off my chest?
Sure.
When Ethan and I were watching that game together, we were
Oh,
rooting hard for
absolutely.
TCU.
I'm sure you were.
So,
I'm sure you were.
purple.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was devastated
not.
when Marvin Harrison Jr. got injured against Georgia because I was like, son of a bitch. The worst thing that could happen to Dylan's not going to happen now.
It was looking very bleak for a long time. It was
not.
Those
good.
are still some of the best wings I've ever had, Grant.
Those are the best. They were the best wings I think I've ever had.
Where did you guys get the wings at?
Well, we just made them. I just bought a couple, about 4 pounds of the Smart Chicken wingettes and drummies. And we got some Buffalo B-Dubs Asian Zing sauce. Put it in the air fryer.
Great choice.
Hit it out of the bowl.
You fry them first, then for 2 minutes afterwards, you put the sauce on them, and it's pretty good. It's almost as good as a blowjob.
The word, almost.
I heard a tip is if you smoke them and then you throw them in the air fryer, they're really good. That
doesn't sound terrible either.
We're just not rich enough where we can afford a smoker.
Well, we got that shitty smoker that I have that I'm bringing over.
Oh yeah, the electric one, that janky one.
I have both.
Okay.
But I
fancy one here.
Done that. Mine's my smoker is it's a 3-in-1. It's a smoker, a griddle, and a grill.
Is this a Traeger?
All in one. No, Pit Boss.
A good one.
Combo.
Not bad.
Now,
yeah, I have no complaints.
I have a question. When you operate that piece of equipment there, are you wearing New Balances? Do you have jean shorts on? Is your T-shirt tucked in to your jean shorts?
T-shirt is tucked in
with the white socks.
I don't even think, to be honest, I own a pair of white socks.
I'm with you. I haven't owned a pair of white socks.
What kind of socks do you guys wear? Like what color?
Yeah.
Black.
What?
Black?
You're not black. You wear white socks. That's how it works, isn't it?
I don't know what racist town you came from, but that's not what I was told.
Wearing off on me.
Yeah, Grant and I wear black socks to prove we're not racist.
Yeah.
It'd be racist if we didn't have any black socks, wouldn't it?
You think Joe Buck that day was wearing white socks? Just with his, he wasn't wearing dress socks. He was wearing white Hanes socks.
Maybe Randy Moss was mooning him.
Oh, you might be onto something there.
Because he knows that Joe Bucks are racist.
Could be.
My God, we may have figured it out.
We're solving the world's problems here.
We're solving.
That's why he had to go to ESPN from Fox to prove that he wasn't racist. See, we are. Oh my gosh!
With the same company as Moss.
Yeah.
And on Monday Night Football.
It's similar to like the Bloods and Crips holding up a red and blue bandana.
Red and blue bandana.
Yeah.
God, we are solving all the world's issues just a couple sentences at a time.
This is where we get the Paul Rudd. Who would have thought? Both of us right here.
Not us.
Not me.
Not me. Not us.
Lakers are on the submarine. Who would have thought? Not us.
Not us. Hey, to celebrate, should we go on a submarine ride, guys, or should we?
Honestly, I prefer.
I got dibs on the controller. I'll bring the controller.
Please tell me it's the old Nintendo 64 controller.
Sure, I can find it.
Man, this is the Pac-Man, just the joystick.
Just the joystick. We're going places. Also, speaking of, did you see, guys, this week? This just proves our whole generation is going to hell. Celine Dion's song has like 70 million plays on Spotify after the submarine went down.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
It's got like 70 million streams. It's the 12th most popular song on Spotify. And guys, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be lying if I said one of them wasn't me.
We knew all three of us were going to hell, but the 70 other million people, I didn't think they would. So hell's gonna be pretty fucking party.
That was the that big Eagles fan. There was the one of like when you make it to heaven and God pulling out the receipts from the submarine. What's
Jesus.
this?
Yikes.
But yeah, when I saw that, I just said, "Yep, there's going to be a lot of kids at the gates of hell born between the years of 1988 and 1996 someday, and it's just going to be Celine Dion music playing."
Oh, jeez. Speaking of classics, you know what movies I saw that I watched yesterday that I found on that I haven't seen in like 10 years, probably
The Dark
longer.
Knight?
Shawshank Redemption.
Nope. National Treasure movies.
Classic.
God, those were good.
They were, and they were just as good as the first
first
when I
time.
saw them the first time.
Fantastic movies.
Yeah.
You know, minus Nicolas Cage's terrible facial expressions, he's actually
He's
a really
solid.
good actor.
He is.
You know, him and Brendan Fraser have to have the two worst facial expressions of any actors in Hollywood.
Sure.
But The Mummy and National Treasure have done enough for him. And Nicolas Cage has been in a lot of other
true.
good flicks too.
On air.
Yep.
But yeah, so got that, and then I had and then this week I got my 10-year class reunion. Should be interesting.
I didn't know about.
I didn't.
They
I
invited
didn't
my old Facebook page that got hacked. So yeah. Whoever that hacker is, thank you.
Oh yeah. I actually the other day, Ethan, or the other week, when I was one of the last times I've seen my mom, my parents, she was friends with your old account, and I said, no, we're going to unfriend that one because there's a crazy lady in that photo, and we're going to.
Okay, let's just say it. She's a see you next Tuesday. Her and her mom both. Yeah,
she's a nasty person. And let's just God, she's a mean woman there. With a capital C. So we got Mary all squared away with the new one.
Good deal.
Yes.
You're talking about a woman.
Yeah, I don't know.
This brave Spencer Strider, he's nasty as a pitcher. Holy shit. I don't know if you've watched him tonight.
No, I was watching the absolute annihilation of LSU taking on Florida.
I have not watched like any TV tonight. I watched some clips from the herd today when I got home, and then that was about it. By that time,
what kind of nonsense was Collins doing today?
Oh, he had Rick Bucher on. They were talking about Damian Lillard's next move.
In Portland,
talking about.
Didn't he say he wants to stay in Portland?
He wants to, but he doesn't. It's basically they're going through it. The divorce is imminent. It's just they don't. Neither side wants to be the one that says it's over. Is kind of what I've gathered.
Okay.
So, and he said weird things like he doesn't want to go to a stacked team. But
so he's.
I mean I don't know. And how the Suns want to keep DeAndre
Which is
Ayton.
stupid. We've been 2 years that they should trade him, but what do we know?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And what else? Oh, he was talking about how there is zero hype around Jordan Love because when Pat Mahomes was in camp, there was film getting out. When Daniel Jones was drafted, they were making him sound like he was the next Pat Mahomes. And you shouldn't buy the hype about Jordan Love.
I'm not going to buy the hype on Jordan Love because he has no weapons around him. I mean, wait for it.
So true.
Christian Watson just dropped another pass.
Hannah just ran into the cabinet again, so nothing normal.
I definitely just heard that. I'd be lying if I said I didn't.
But other than that,
hold on.
Wasn't a whole lot.
Hold on. Christian Watson just dropped a second pass, guys. He just dropped a second pass tonight.
Let's be real.
And hold on. Romeo Dobbs is still blanketed. Okay. Yep. We're set.
But I did see on Twitter, and so it's obviously true that Christian Watson is better than Justin Jefferson.
Oh, he's got a higher ceiling.
Or
like
that's
30
what it
days
was,
younger,
yeah.
and he's in his older, I should say.
Yeah, and he's going into his second year while JJ's going into his fourth.
On pace to absolutely obliterate the highest, most yardage through like the first 3 seasons or 4 seasons in his career. Yeah, it's normal.
Ain't that the truth? But now that we've reached that point of the news cycle for NFL is that it's teams not releasing footage from a player or releasing it. There's it's all a bunch of hot garbage and things to talk about.
Well, dude, speaking of that,
which
today,
is kind of where we're at too. So
speaking of that, Dylan, I was on lunch today, and you know what they were talking about on SportsCenter? They were talking about, in recapping, some ESPN Plus writer, how he broke down the highest ranking position groups minus the quarterback in the NFL, and he gave his top 10.
For which position?
Yes. Like, if you combine your running back and wide receivers and tight ends, like who has the best group in the NFL, but he excluded the quarterback. I was like, we really don't have this much content to talk about right now where we're talking about this garbage. And even on first take today, you had Kendrick Perkins, which is just an absolute shame because that guy should not be allowed on TV.
Still employed.
And then 2 people.
He's had one good moment on TV, and that was when he tried poutine for the first time in Toronto. Other than that, he's been trash.
And 2 other guys on ESPN I've never heard of. So it's like just cut the program. Just like that nasty ex-girlfriend from Ethan. Just cut the program. Not the dance team she coached. They were all lazy and out of shape, just like her. I'm sorry, I'm going sideways here. She's not here to defend herself, but God, she was a nasty woman. But yeah, there's just nothing on ESPN to talk about these days.
So that brings us up to some. We decided now that there is some slower cycles. Last week we did the film review on the 2008 U.S. Open. This week, we're going to go over to the music side. Now, no, we are not going to be singing. Maybe Grant or Ethan are going to be singing. No, I'm not.
From midnight to 3 a.m. on the way from Iowa City to Mankato, and you told me I suck. So I will not be singing again because you still hurt. My feelings are still hurt.
Yeah, well, maybe it was true. Maybe I was drunk. Maybe I was tired. Maybe it was all 3. I don't remember. I'm
going option D, all of the above.
Ding, 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 ding.
We have a winner.
Speaking of sad and hurt feelings, we're gonna pick a team that each of us have had that had us feeling like the Morgan Wallen song, the 98 Braves. So, guys, I don't know how much you know about the 98 Braves. Do you guys know much of anything about it? Other than they had 3 big pitchers, and Andrew.
That's pretty much all you need in baseball. But they lost to the Padres in the NLCS, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Six games, and they win like 105 games that year. 106 games.
106 and 56. They won the NL East by 18 games. ESPN columnist, and I'm getting this all from Wikipedia here, said ESPN columnist Jeff Marin also writes that the pitching staff of Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, John Schmaltz, Denny Neagle, and Kevin Millwood was the greatest of all time. Do you guys know what their cumulative ERA was that year?
3.14.
I'm
gonna go lower. I'm gonna say 2.96.
Oh shit, Grant, you almost got this one. 2.97. And 88 wins, and which was almost 18 wins per starter, and that equaled the win total of the second place.
You said
Mets.
Kevin Millwood, right? What an underrated! Yep. He was actually had some really good freaking years.
He pitched for the Twins, didn't he?
I don't know, but I mean, when you have Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, like obviously you're going to be overshadowed. But talk about a great fifth starter.
Schmaltz.
Yeah,
and Schmaltz.
Like that's a hell of a starting pitching rotation.
I mean, that's an
Oh, yeah,
all-star
literally.
team, every single year.
They were the only team in MLB history to have 5 pitchers each strike out 150 batters in the same season. Glavine was the Cy Young. He won 20 games.
Not
And
Well, and then also Bobby Cox, Hall of Fame manager.
Yep. And Andrew Jones,
that team?
Chipper Jones.
He had Rafael
What's that?
Furcal, the second baseman, leadoff hitter. He had to have been on the team, right?
No. Ozzie Guillen
No
played
shit.
for him though.
Who else was on that team?
Yep. Walt Weiss. Rafael Belliard, Eddie Perez, Javi Lopez.
Okay, Rafael Belliard must have been a young Rafael Belliard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, Ryan Klesko, George Lombard, Michael Tucker. On the Ned Yost was the bullpen coach.
You're kidding.
I believe
wow.
he was a manager.
Yeah, he was
somewhere.
Kansas City manager.
Kansas City might win the World Series.
Yep, that's right. And so
is he the Brewers manager right now?
No, that's Counsell.
No, that's Counsell.
He used to be the Brewers manager though.
I thought he was the Brewers manager, Ethan, even before he was in Kansas City. I think it was when CC was there.
Yeah.
In like 2008 or 2007.
They had some good teams up there.
God, they did.
They could never break through, but they had some good teams.
And so they make it through the ALDS. They sweep the Cubs 3-0. In the NLCS, and then in the NLCS they face the Padres.
Them damn Padres.
Who else?
I think it was just
Bruce Bochy was the manager.
Okay.
Okay.
Bruce Bochy was the manager.
There's a Hall of Famer right there.
They won the NL West. They played at the beautiful Qualcomm Stadium.
Yeah. Third infield, baby.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Just nasty must be the word of this podcast because that's a nasty stadium. Ugh.
So in right field, they had Tony Gwynn, center field, Steve Finley, left field, Greg Vaughn, third base.
He played for San Diego.
Ken Caminiti.
I thought he was an Angel his whole career. Okay.
No, you're thinking of
you're
Mohan.
right. You're right. Okay, my bad.
From backyard baseball. Yep. And let's see here. Trevor Hoffman was the closer.
That's prime Trevor Hoffman. Good fucking luck.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not touching that guy.
Let's see here. Kevin Brown was a pitcher. Matt Clement was a pitcher.
Brown, he was solid. Not like Hall of Fame, but solid.
Yep. Really outside of Bochy as the manager, Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman, Mark Sweeney, he was an outfielder. Must have been a young Mark Sweeney.
Really came on for Royals, right? If I remember right?
Sounds right.
No, that's Mike. Mark Sweeney, I think, played for the. Did he play for the A's?
Maybe.
Let's see here. He played for a bunch of teams. He played for the Padres, the Reds, the Brewers, Padres again, the Rockies, the Padres again, the Giants, and the Dodgers. Yeah. But he played from 95 to 08, so he played 14 years, which is not a.
That's a solid career.
Yeah. And then the Braves, they got down 3-0. They made it back to 3-2. And then they lost in Game 6 to the Padres, and the Padres wanted to get swept by the Yankees.
They had to be just shell-shocked. They were down 3-0.
Yeah, well, let's look at it. They lose Game 1 at home, 3-2. They lose Game 2, 3-0. Tom Glavine gets shut out. And I don't know. He probably pitched pretty well. It was 1-0 going into the ninth inning. The Padres get 2 to get 3 runs. Then they go back to Qualcomm. They lose 4-1. Greg Maddux pitched, lost. And then in Game 4, win or go home. Oh, the offense decides to show up. They win 8-3. And then in Game 5, it looks like quite a battle. John Rocker was the winning pitcher for the Braves.
Was this at Turner or was it Game 5?
This was at Qualcomm. Game 5 was at Qualcomm. They won 7-6.
Oh, so they did 2-3-2.
Yeah. Yep. So in this game, the Braves had 5 runs in the 8th inning to win. To go up, it was 2-2, and the Braves had 5 runs in the 8th, and then the Padres gets 2 in the 9th, but they were able to hold on to win 7-6.
Right.
And then in Game 6,
one was in Atlanta, right?
Game 6 was in Atlanta. Yep, and they lose. They get shut out
when they went up
5-0.
freaking scored the 5 runs in the freaking 8th.
Yeah. And Game 6, the Padres score all 5 runs in the 6th inning.
Wow.
2 hits.
Jeepers.
Atlanta gets 2 hits that
game. Who the hell started that one? Was it just like was it Kevin?
It must have been Glavine. It was Tom Glavine.
Glavine in Game 3. So what, they went Schmaltz?
I meant Padres. Who pitched that game?
Oh.
The Padres, it's I don't have all the stats. The winning pitcher was Sterling Hitchcock.
Sure. Good for him.
Okay.
So, yep. He also started Game 3 and won Game 3.
2-0 series. That's not terrible. Or NLC, I guess.
And
yeah.
He probably beat Maddox twice.
Game 1 actually went into extras, and San Diego scored 1 in the 10th to go win 3-2. Braves had 3 errors in Game 1.
That'll do it.
They had 6 errors in the game or in the series. Not going to win many games when you average an error a game.
Error game, especially in October.
But that's a little bit of the backstory of the '98 Braves. Now I'll let one of you guys go for your the team that had you feeling the most like the '98 Braves.
So I feel like for most Minnesota fans, especially our age, has to be the Vikings in the NFC Championship game versus the Saints. I mean, it's on there on a platter for you. Favre F's it up. But I think that's too common of an answer. So I'm going to go the Gophers back in, in 2019? Tyler Johnson, Chad Bateman.
Yeah.
You go into Iowa City, you play a terrible 15-minute first quarter. After that, you beat the living hell out of that team. Literally the only time anyone's ever kind of pushed them around that year at Kinnick. But you can't overcome it. You shoot yourself in the foot. Tyler Johnson drops a 4th down. Tanner Morgan gets a concussion late in the game, whatever, but could have easily won that game. Then you got the West on the line.
Mm-hmm.
First time ever possibly having a chance to win the West. You're kicking game day.
Game matchup.
You have a spot like to make yourself known nationally. Like this is it. You have a national stage. Like first drive, 50-yard bomb to Bateman. No contest. Like this place is fucking shaking. Mm-hmm. And then after that, Lele gets hurt. You're up like what? I think it was 10-0 at the time. Wheels come off. They have no one to replace right tackle, and it's just a hellhole. Wisconsin just demolishes them from there on out.
Well, yeah, and then after that, they got Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. And I remember that game, Ethan, in the snow just kept coming and coming.
It's just sucks.
And
that was their year.
Before you know it, Wisconsin, they're up, was it like 35-13 or 31-13? It's just like, holy crap, this happened fast.
I believe it was like a 4th and short where Minnesota was in field goal range, and Fleck opted to kick it instead of go for it. Or
he was super conservative back then, which makes sense.
Yeah,
but now he's a lot better than that. But still,
and after that, it felt like that game completely flipped. They had Herbstreit and Fowler calling the game.
Yeah,
and going into it, or even going back, people were talking about when they played Penn State, one of the biggest games to be played at then TCF Bank Stadium.
Oh, dude, it was the biggest game.
Electric.
And it was the biggest game.
and Minnesota comes out and plays one of the best games, well, probably one of the best games in Fleck's tenure as head coach. 100%. Would you say
it was
probably?
Outside of Auburn? It was probably the best game.
And it just felt like it was Minnesota's day. They had a good week in practice. They just came out, they executed, and they left, and Penn State was shell-shocked. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what hit them. And I believe there was Sean Clifford before said, fuck their damn boat. We're making it sink. And it did not go full Titanic.
Well, and that was the ultimate Penn State. We played Ohio Stadium. We play at the Big House. We play at Happy Valley for our home games. We travel to Spartan Stadium. What's this little 54,000 seat stadium in Minneapolis going to do to us? They're a pro team.
Go ahead, Grant. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm not taking anything away from the Gophers there. That was just arrogance on the side of Sean Clifford and James Franklin in that Penn State game that day, that they thought they could come in with their chest out and, beat the drums of war, and they were not ready for what was coming their way.
Well, and the other part of it too, though, it's Penn State. James Franklin has won one game in either of Michigan Stadium or Ohio Stadium. And the one year, it was a COVID year when Cade McNamara got hurt.
I do, and not to
it's
make
like
this about
what do they think they're entitled? The entitlement. It's like you guys aren't. You're not that special.
We're not to sabotage Ethan's
they're fine.
Team here but Penn State's the most overrated team in college football every single year. They're like, they're a 10-win program. Anyone in college football can win 10 wins when you're able to get the recruits and have the funding that school has. Why do they lose? Why do they lose to Michigan?
They were damn good last year. I'll give them that.
That's fair, but you know what? I want to see them beat Michigan or Ohio
before
State.
You can kind of say, hey, they're this good. But they're at their ceiling right now. I shouldn't say ceiling, but they're not at their ceiling, but they're at the cusp. They need to beat the teams.
And then, I get Singleton. He's a great running back. And I think the sophomore quarterback to have, who knows? He could be the something they need. Sean Clifford played 17 years.
Way more talented than fucking the redhead fuck.
Sean Clifford played 17 years of college football, and it was
he was the Tanner Morgan of the East.
Exactly. And he had instead of having 3-star players around him, he has 4 and 5-star players. And who knows? Penn State, they might be good this year. They're going to have a top 10 pick and an offensive lineman. Their whole secondary is young, minus Porter Jr., who's gone in Singleton. They might be good, but to your point, that Minnesota was just ready to play that day. They were going to war.
It never should have been close that day. Like the amount of turnovers we produced. Like Winfield was a freak that day. Like
that was the game that put him on the map.
Yeah.
Like that game put him on the map. Like, hey, I'm here to stay. I'm Antoine Winfield Jr., not Antoine Winfield Sr.'s son. Like, put some damn respect on my name.
But it's not even the Wisconsin game. It's not the Penn State game. It was the Iowa game that fucked them in the end.
Well, and they did what Penn State did. They did the next week. They let an egg early in that game.
Literally, if they played,
just
that
just
first
like
quarter, they probably beat Iowa by 2 scores.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Well, and the other part too is in that Wisconsin game doesn't mean anything because they would only have the one lot, or Wisconsin would have been their only loss.
Yeah, and they're going. They already know they're playing Ohio State the next week.
Yeah, that's probably their top 5 team come when Wisconsin comes to town.
Well, yeah, and to your point, Dylan, even if that Wisconsin game doesn't matter, in the world we live in the college football playoff, the situation where Iowa was in 2015, Minnesota would have been in that spot. Win this game. That game against Ohio State is not a Big Ten title game. It's a college football playoff quarterfinal game, and Ohio State
100%.
probably still would have made it anyway. So it's not like where Michigan State had to win. They had to beat Iowa, and if Iowa won, they got in. But for the Gophers, if they could have pulled that game off, they would have been in. You beat Penn State, you beat Iowa, you beat Wisconsin and Ohio State. You're in as the 4th seed, and you get to play Joe Shiesty. But, hey, who cares? Minnesota's on the program. Look what PJ can sell for his program now. And
Yep.
Like you said, just like the Braves,
I mean, the last 3 full seasons, not counting COVID, Flex won 9+ games, which I don't know the last time that's happened at Minnesota, but it's been a long fucking time.
The 1940s when they had when they won their national titles.
Mm-hmm.
But did you have any honorable mentions outside of the 09 Vikings?
I'd say the year the Twins lost to the Yankees, and
the 19 Twins.
Yeah, probably right around there. Maybe not even the Bomba Squad. I would say the year they opened at New York, obviously, but what's his name at first base? Willingham drops a ball right through his glove. I think it was Willingham. Right through his glove, would have turned a double play. They come back, hit a 3-run homer in game 1 or something like that. That's the same series. They called it a foul ball on Mauer.
That was the 09.
That was 09. Jesus Christ. Team. But yeah, I almost said that because they should have won.
They did get a game in 163.
They were the better team that series, and they got completely effed by these umpires.
Yeah, another one I thought too, which I guess we can get into which I guess would be mine as far as an honorable mention, would have been the 06 Twins when they had Johan and Liriano, and that team. I think if Liriano doesn't get hurt that year, I think they make it to the World Series.
Because didn't the Cardinals won the World Series that year with what, 84,
something
88
like that.
wins?
Yeah, they beat the Tigers in the NLCS.
In the NLCS, yeah. Was that Game 7 at Shea?
Was that any Chavez like home run robbery type stuff?
Yeah, there was a robbery in that series. Yes.
Okay,
that was that series, I believe.
But all right, well, Grant, off to you.
Well, as you can tell by what I'm wearing, guys, I think we know where this is going. And it's funny you mentioned this hat right here, Super Bowl 54. So that would be the 2019 Kansas City Chiefs. My version of the 98 Braves is, no, Ethan, it's not the Joe Burrow year. It's the first year Pat Mahomes started, the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs. 12-4 regular season. They won the AFC West, thankfully, because Baltimore beat the Chargers on a Saturday night after the Chargers beat the Chiefs the week before on a Thursday. You know, the number 1 seed in the AFC, they get the Colts in the first round. And you kind of compare the songs. You know, the Braves had them 3 big pitchers. Well, what the Chiefs had, they have Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. And then Chipper Jones is a Hall of Famer. Chris Jones is on that team, and he's on path to be a Hall of Famer too. Andy Reid, Hall of Fame head coach. Bobby Cox, Hall of Fame manager. Best record in the AFC that year. Not the best record in the NFL that year. The Saints had that, and I think the Yankees had a better regular season record than the Braves that year. So it kind of lines up there. But then, you know, the home AFC title game against the Patriots. I remember Eth was over for that game. We were all jazzed up, ready to roll, thinking, all right, they're going to do this. Patriots get the ball first, methodical 12-13 play drive right down the field. They're up 7-rip. All right, damn. And then as the game goes on, the Patriots get up again. Then the Chiefs fight back. I think they had the game won, but D Ford was offsides. The Patriots get another chance. They go down. They get a touchdown. Mahomes ties it up on a Butker field goal. Patriots get the ball in overtime. The Chiefs don't see the ball because they couldn't get a damn stop. And even though they would have played the Rams in the Super Bowl that year, and I know they lost in the regular season with that 54-51 game, I think they would have beat the hell out of the Rams in Atlanta, and they would have won the Super Bowl that year. And it would have been special because it would have Mahomes' first year starting. He would have been the MVP. Probably would have been the Super Bowl MVP. Andy's first Super Bowl. It just, something felt magical about that year. Mahomes had 50 touchdown passes in the regular season. They weren't supposed to be good. I knew their defense was going to be atrocious that year, which they were. But I didn't expect Mahomes' this offense to be this good. And fun fact, guys, coming into the year, I said the Chargers would win the AFC West that year at 12-4. The Chargers finished 12-4, but they finished second in the division.
That sucks.
Yeah, but something just magical about that first year with Mahomes and how fast that offense was just flying around. The left-handed pass against Denver, he had the 6 touchdown games. 6-touchdown game against the Steelers in week 2.
That was the left-handed no-look pass, wasn't it?
He was looking at Tyreek. He kind of just shoveled it to him, left-handed.
That's right.
He did the no-look pass was against Baltimore that year. Mahomes and Lamar, the first time they played. And then the crazy 4th and 12 play where he's rolling out to his right. He just hucks it 40 yards down the field, and Tyreek comes screaming across the field, and he gets it. Chiefs win that game in overtime. That 2018 team felt special, and they were going up against the old Empire, and they just fell up short at home. And the reason why I kind of like that comparison is this: the Braves lost in the NLCS, the Chiefs lost in the AFC title game. They didn't even reach the World Series and/or the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'd have to go with that 18 Chiefs team. First year Mahomes was the starter.
Okay. I figured that was a choice, either that one or the 2015 Iowa Hawkeyes.
That would, if you're asking for an honorable mention, Dylan, that would be it. Damn you, LJ Scott, and then the interception off the shoulder pad in the red zone.
Yeah, and that I remember that 18 season was the pick. I think that was a consensus pick though. Was a lot of teams were picking the Chargers in the West because they didn't know what they were getting out of Pat Mahomes. You know, I remember there was talk. We talked earlier about how they were releasing throws in training camp of how incredible he was. But I remember in his first training camp as the starter, the biggest concern was how many interceptions he was throwing.
Oh yeah, I mean, he threw it to Marcus Peters all the time. I mean, and that was just his rookie year. And then, because like I said, going into that year, I knew that defense was going to be just atrocious, last in the NFL. But I didn't think this offense would be that good.
I don't think anyone saw Mahomes coming in that good.
You couldn't have. It wasn't possible. I mean,
shit, Grant didn't even want him. Grant wanted Mitch Trubisky.
True.
I didn't want a quarterback. I wanted Jonathan Allen. Because I saw how bad that defense was. The years 13, 14, 15, top 5 defense in the NFL. 16, it's getting down. Well, 16 it was still damn good. 17, it's going real bad, and then 18, I was like, oh, this is going to be tough. But yeah, to Ethan's point, if you said you saw this out of Mahomes, you're crazy. The only person who saw this
just to clarify, any Packers fans that are listening, Jordan Love will not be this good. I just want to point it out there. Just don't get your expectations high. Like, shut the hell up and just deal with it.
That's right. Well, and Colin said it too on his show today. The Packers haven't released any throws because they know there's no hype around him. There's nothing.
There's nothing good about him. The only thing he does well is hand it off to Aaron Jones.
And wait for it, Aaron Jones has a groin strain and is missing.
Oh, is he really? I didn't even see that.
Well, I'm making fun of the Packers now because he always gets hurt. Just like wait for it, Christian Watson has a third drop on the night already.
Has Dalvin Cook been linked to anyone in the last week or so?
No, I have not seen anything.
I've heard Miami is his
third
destination, but that's about it.
Fantasy team is to know.
I don't know. But, alrighty, well, then, so that brings it up to me. And I think you guys have a good idea of where it was going. It was the most recent one that happened, and that was this year's... 2022 Michigan Wolverines football team.
I'm surprised it's this team.
Oh, yeah, are you?
I thought you were going to pick that team that should have beat Ohio State, the 16 team.
Well, that was an honorable mention, but I think this year the difference was it was the quarterback play, like where JJ McCarthy was brought in as the guy. We're going to find out this year he to his credit, he brought him back. He made it a game against TCU, just fell up short, obviously, but going in, the expectations were high. They were the defending Big Ten champions. A lot of people still thought that this was Ohio State's division to lose with C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison, Jackson Smith and Jigma, all those guys. They brought in a defensive coordinator. Ohio State brought in a defensive coordinator to stop Michigan and their running attack. And Michigan, there were some questions. They had to replace a Heisman Trophy at defensive end or edge to get Grant's nose wrinkled.
They play a 4-3, a 4-2. It's a defensive end. Cut the shit.
It's an edge.
But
they
the
play an
biggest
even man front.
And going in, it was Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. They had the two big running backs, three really good receivers in Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, and Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell was coming back from a torn ACL. The defense had some questions to answer. They lost, like I said, Aiden Hutchinson, two first round or would be first rounders if David Ojabo doesn't get hurt at his combine. And the season starts. Michigan comes out hot. They had a bit of a quarterback controversy, you could say, because it was Cade McNamara was coming back, but J.J. McCarthy, you could see that he was the future. He was definitely the better quarterback, but had to earn it. And Cade started the first game against Colorado State. J.J. started the second game, and then after that game against Hawaii, J.J. never looked back. They go through the season, and they're rolling. And, they came out, struggled a little bit against Maryland, but was able to get control of the game late in the first half and control the entire second half. And then they go down to Iowa, a rematch of the Big Ten title game. Now, Iowa's offense was an eyesore, if you're putting it generously. It was
No, that's too nice.
Dylan, they were as useful as a fucking dead person. Let's just put it what it is.
They were. It was 11 dead corpses
my
out there.
grandpa lives in the fucking nursing home from Parkinson's, and he's more useful than whatever offense Iowa put out there.
It was abysmal.
And Michigan goes in and they control that game from the start. They win 27-14. Things are rolling. They go to Indiana. The last time they played there, it was the first time they lost to Indiana since like the 70s or 80s. I don't remember, in the 2020 year. So technically they still haven't lost to Indiana since the 70s or 80s. And then the big one was Penn State was coming to town. And Penn State, they had those two big running backs, and outside of a J.J. McCarthy pick six and a long Clifford run, Penn State's offense was as useful as Iowa's offense that day and did nothing. Michigan won 41-17. The best throw that we saw all day from Penn State player came from an offensive lineman throwing an Uncrustable. And then they get a bye week, and then they get to play little brother. And and it was a night game. It was a spectacular game. The scumbags from Michigan State decide to assault because they couldn't do anything on the field. Michigan dominates them, wins 29-7. They settled for probably too many field goals, but they looked at the other sideline, and said, there's no way this team's going to be able to score touchdowns. And they're still undefeated. Then they go to Rutgers. I think they were actually trailing at half. In Michigan, the defense shuts them out. They win 52-17. Nebraska, there's nothing to talk about. And then the Illinois game comes. And this was really the only game where they really sweated, where they were actually trailing. Jake Moody hits some big field goals late. They extend some drives. This is where J.J. McCarthy made a few plays. Corum gets hurt. Donovan Edwards was out. And it was led up to J.J. McCarthy to make plays, and he answered. He got him into field goal range. They win 19-17, which now leads into the game. Michigan at Ohio State. Talk all year. These two were on a collision course to meet. Winner goes to Indianapolis. Game does not start out great. Ohio State goes right down the field, scores 7-0. Michigan gets a field goal. Corum tries to go. And he couldn't. He could run straight, but he didn't have the juking ability. Donovan Edwards had a club on his hand, and his effectiveness was going to be in question too. And Michigan gets a 3, and then Ohio State gets another field goal, and then they kind of trade possessions. And then Michigan gets a big 4th down stop. And then on a 3rd and 9, Ohio State sends pressure, and J.J. McCarthy hits Cornelius Johnson. The Ohio State guy misses a tackle. Another terrible angle by the safety. Cornelius Johnson goes to the house. And all of a sudden you look up, we have a tie game, which the way that game was trending was it did not feel that way at all. It felt like Ohio State was up like 28-3 and dominating it. And then it was like, oh, look up. Oh, wow. We got a tie game. Ohio State goes down, kicks field goal. And then Michigan on the first play hits Cornelius Johnson again, puts the safety for Ohio State in an absolute spin cycle, just turns him around. And then all of a sudden, oh, wow, we're in the lead. Michigan's in the lead. And then Ohio State goes down and scores, hits Harrison, halftime, and then Michigan gets the ball to start the second half. They go, and they get to about midfield. They go for a shot play, hit Colston Loveland. They go up 24-20. And then kind of just some quiet trading possessions again, and then Michigan gets the ball back with about 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter, and they go on a long drive. They score on a J.J. McCarthy run to make it 31-20. And then I think they trade some possessions again, and Michigan, I believe, missed a kick, gave Ohio State a short field, and then Ohio State quickly moves the ball into field goal range. The defense, as they pretty much had all game, sacks up. They make a stop. They make Ohio State kick a field goal. And then the legend of the Dawn begins, where Ohio State kicks off. There's about 8.5 minutes left. Donovan Edwards, first run, 75 yards, house call. I about jumped through my TV with excitement.
How critical at that
and
point?
Then
6 inches, 10?
I would probably on a good day, my vertical is about 3 inches, which is pretty average for me about everything 3 inches.
Right.
On a good day. That one, Grant, Ethan, you're right. That was about a 6-inch vertical.
Hey,
and I about headbutt my TV.
You jumped forward.
And I was actually
okay.
Yeah, both. Because I didn't sit much that day. I was pacing back and forth. I hit my move goal about halfway through the second quarter. And it's funny, Grant, because I was actually reading through our text messages from that game. And I didn't count how many, but I think I sent finish about 80 times.
No, about 240.
Okay, probably.
It was, wait for it, folks, an absolute shitload.
And then Ohio State actually goes down, and it was, I believe, a 3rd and 10, and CJ was about to get sacked. He just kind of throws it. Michigan intercepts it, and then on a 3rd and 3, and backing up is before that, Joel Klatt on the Fox broadcast goes, "This is what Jim Knowles was brought here to do. He was here to go and make stops in this game and get Ohio State the win." Donovan Edwards, whoa, can they catch him? No, the Don, as the great Gus Johnson says. And then he does it again, goes 85 yards. And then at that point, the game was over. I was cracking beers, some of the best tasting beers I've ever had. It was and it was just a tremendous day. And I kept drinking. Like the beer just tasted better after each one. It just kept getting better and better. And I had people over. I had party. We went out to the bars after. I had people coming up to me congratulating me, like, "Congratulations on the win." I was like, "Thanks. Yeah, I did it. I sure did a lot for that one." And then Michigan beat
playoff.
I'm getting to it. Okay, shut up. Don't be mad that my team's made the playoff and your teams haven't. So get over it.
Just as many
my time, and they beat Purdue. Very workmanlike, just take care of business, and then they get the draw against TCU. And going in, I didn't think there was any way this team was going to lose.
Can we just say how much you absolutely obliterated? Wasn't? Oh no, you did Purdue. Sorry, that was 2 years ago. You absolutely obliterated Iowa. My bad.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking, there's no way TCU is going to stop it. They just lost to Kansas State, and Kansas State's a running team, know the coach very well. There's no way Michigan's not going to be able to run the ball. But then they get down, they have a pick six, they have a fumble on the goal line. Anything that could have went bad did. And then to Michigan's credit, in the second half, they find a way to get back in. And then it felt like Michigan had TCU on the ropes. The game was getting ready to flip. And then on a 3rd and 10, they run a simple crossing route. They hit Quentin Johnson in stride. If DJ Turner makes that tackle where he makes contact with him, it's a 4th down. It felt like the way the game was going, Michigan was going to go take the lead, and Michigan was going to find a way to win it. Didn't happen. Quentin Johnson goes to the house, and then they go back and forth. There was a pick six in there too. But then Michigan finally gets a stop, and it's 51-45 at this point. And I was fully, even then, I think there was about a minute left. I was fully convinced Michigan was going to go down, score, kick the extra point, and they were going to win. And it just simply did not happen. And that's how it went. And I really would have sunk to a low point if Ohio State would have found a way to win that game.
You put that suicide
the
watch.
Next game. And I don't know if I would say suicide watch. I would have just been very, very. I think I was at the bar when it happened, and they shanked that field goal. I was about the happiest guy ever. I was jumping up and down, screaming. Everybody was looking at me. I didn't care.
Because what's funny is this, Dylan, is you could have walked around your family reunion. Oh, hey, we just beat you guys, yada yada yada. 2 years in a row, go blue, and they're just like, so we're the champs. They would have beat the hell out of TCU too. So
no,
it would
they
have
would
been
not have.
It's like
Nope.
you would have. They would have just destroyed TCU.
No, they would have.
You drugged them on the fucking.
TCU did not belong in that title game. We all know it. Michigan would have killed them. Georgia killed them. Ohio State would have killed them. You'd have had to live with, hey, we beat Ohio State, but Ohio State's the champs for the rest of your life. So it's like your win doesn't mean anything. It cancels out. It's mush.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I was leaving. I was going on a party bus too. So I remember I leave, and Ohio State just scored again. And I remember walking out of the house, just hit my parents' house, just pissed off, and I just said, "Fuck this day," and walked out. My dad's just sitting there, kind of laughing at me. And my mom, I'm sure my mom was sitting in there like, "Control him, get him under control." And
I'm 29 years old.
I'm
27 years old, Jolene. Let me do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Yeah.
And the other
And
guy,
it worked out.
Down.
Thankfully. But, and this one takes the cake. But what's the 2023 Michigan team, we're going to have to amend it, and it'll definitely probably be the 2023 Michigan team, because I am fully convinced they are winning the national title this year. I have it all set in my mind. I believe it, and I have good reason to believe it. But
I got to say this.
I also know how this team works.
I have to say this. If not this year, when?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Because
it's not.
The best quarterback in this country, last time I checked, his head coach is still Lincoln Riley, and his defensive coordinator is Alex Grinch. USC's not doing it. The other quarterback, Drake May, he still doesn't have a defense.
He plays for North Carolina.
He plays for North Carolina. Mac Brown hasn't played defense since before the 2005 Rose Bowl. Come on, JJ. If not this year, win for Michigan.
Yeah, you're 1,000% right. And Blake Corum's back, Donovan Edwards back, Cornelius Johnson's back, Roman Wilson's back, Colston Loveland's back. I mean, they have
the whole squad's coming back.
The whole squad's coming back. It's just a matter of going out and doing it. You get Ohio State at home. You don't have to play Penn State in a whiteout, which is whatever. I think if you're a good enough team, you're not worried about that. You're going to go and find a way to win that anyways. But it obviously helps because the crowd isn't going to be as juiced for an 11 o'clock game as they would be for a whiteout game.
Sure.
And who knows what's coming out of the West?
It doesn't matter. Let's call it spade. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
And so, this is on watch. Is the upset alert is the 2022 Michigan team for my 98 Braves is doing the 23 upsetting them, but you know what? We're gonna take it in stride. And my honorable mentions, I would say, would have been, like I said, the 06 Twins and the 16 Wolverines. I've never felt so decimated after they lost to Ohio State after that one. I remember just sitting on the couch. I didn't cry, but it looked like I had. And my sister, just in all of her, just decides to roast me because I didn't go out last night because I thought it would mean Michigan would win.
Ooh.
And that one, I'm trying to think here.
What about that 16 Cowboys team with those rookies? Dak and Zeke, 12
that
4.
One, it was. I wouldn't say it was because I was surprised by how good those two played to where I just, that was a season I look back on and I just thoroughly enjoyed watching them play.
All right, how about this? How about that 14 Cowboys team? We all know Des caught it.
Yep, that 14 one was definitely one because it felt like they had all the momentum and they already had won in Seattle the year before, or in that
same year in the regular season.
Yeah, they went in there and they controlled the whole game, and that one, and I felt like they could have done it again. Or the I believe it would have been the 07 Cowboys where they were the number one team going into the playoffs and then they lose to the Giants. Or 13 Michigan basketball team. 100% thought they were going to win the national title that year.
What about Peyton Siva?
Yeah.
Was it a block? Was it a goaltend? Yeah, the NCAA beat Louisville.
Yeah, they remain undefeated.
I mixed up.
But or
it wasn't the 09 team. It was my second year in grad school, so fall of 2017. Dozier, Polanco went yard first inning versus the Yankees. It was CJ that dropped the ball at first base. That would have been an ending double play, but turned out scored 2 runs on the air.
The one game wild card game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to the 09 Orlando Magic that made it to the NBA Finals. Hito Turkoglu makes those free throws. They make it. It's a 2-2 series. Who knows what happens in Game 5, 6? Goes back to LA. But I think those are all of my honorable mentions I got. So this week, but yeah, and then I guess we don't got anything. You guys got any fourth plans?
Monday night, we're actually going to go see some pony races and fireworks across the street of Canterbury. Grant's coming.
Oh, yeah. Nice. There you go.
First time. It'll be exciting.
Yeah.
I will be on a drive to Fargo to fly out to Nashville the next day.
Smashville.
Yeah. So
I don't think Eric Church's bar will be open for you, which is a shame.
The Barstool bar will be open though.
Oh, it will. Okay. So does Luan own that, or is that Dave?
It's not because Portnoy isn't technically the owner. It's Penn Gaming. It's just a
he sold it,
Sports.
Right?
Granted, yeah, he sold it back in 2018.
That's right.
Sorry,
I'm not in elite Barstool mind over here.
It's all right. And we'll kick it over to Ethan for curveball.
So, Dylan, we got one of your favorites tonight. We got a new Mary Fuck Kill. This one's a little.
Oh boy! Not as great.
No, I've not told him about it actually.
Okay.
This one's a little different, but I think it still fits. So your 3 options are stuck in traffic every day, like bumper to bumper, bright fucking red on your maps. Your wife snores like a freaking bear every single night. Go.
Hold on. Now, hold on. Since it's your wife, you could already do, or could we just say girlfriend?
Either one works. Either one works. Doesn't matter. And then the third one, have to wear wet socks all day, every day.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
These are all awful.
I'll go first. I'm killing wet socks because if there's one thing I hate in this world, it's Ohio State and wet socks. And those damn horned frogs.
Oh God, that's good.
Definitely killing the wet socks. I guess I would say I would fuck the bumper to bumper traffic because I live in pretty much Montana, as you guys like to say. So I don't deal with it very often. So I suppose I could handle it. And then I guess I am marrying my wife just snores extremely loud, which, you know, there to go to one of our consensus favorite shows is Yellowstone. What John Dutton told Emmett before he passed is, if you can't deal with somebody snoring, that means you didn't work hard enough during the day. So I guess that would just make me work hard, and I would be tired enough so I wouldn't have to hear
That's fair. Grant, you want to go or you want me to?
Okay. I can go. And, man, I tell you what, after just the absolute debacle of traffic I've had to deal with in these last 10 days, I'm killing bumper to bumper traffic. I can't do it anymore, especially construction season here in Minnesota. Like, I'll either be on the road every day at work. I'll be on the road at 5:30 or 6:30, and if I'm coming home at 2:30 or 3:15, I would think the same amount of people that are on the road when I go to work should be on the road when I'm coming home, because we're all getting off at the same time. Wrong. There's 14 times as many people on the road at 2:30, and I'm like, where were all these people in the morning? Do people not work anymore, or do they go into the office, they work 5 hours, they send a couple emails, they have a cup of coffee, they tell their boss how great he is, how great she is, and they go home and say, oh, I'm going to work from home and write emails the rest of the day. It's awful. I can't do it.
Speaking of which, Grant, so story about that today is North Dakota, like I said, we don't have many traffic jams out in Dickinson. But today when I was driving to a town called Regent, North Dakota. Mm-hmm. And on the highway, you know, most of the times it's highways, so there's no divider, not an interstate. So one's going, in this case, east, one's going west. Well, they're doing construction on one side, so they have a tow car or a pace car essentially. So if you don't hit it right, you're stuck waiting.
Oh God!
Yeah. And usually the people, they just kind of keep to themselves and they kind of just sit there. This lady came and talked to me, and she was asking where I'm from, all this stuff, and she's from here, but she moved to California and then she moved back during COVID. And previous to this, we were having a good conversation. She went to NDSU, go buys and all this, and all of a sudden, she was old.
She found someone.
Maybe. Well, and it ain't gonna be me, because at this point, then she started talking to me about how great the COVID vaccines are, and how she's so glad she got it, and how everybody should be taking it. Can't believe people don't want to take it. My unvaccinated ass here is like, shut the fuck up, Dylan. Shut the fuck up. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. And then luckily, right, before she started asking my opinion about it, the pace car came, and then I left. I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, God was on your side today.
Yeah. So I just had to interject that story because of you mentioned road construction. So
oh God, it's awful. So yeah, we're killing.
That's what we deal with.
Traffic. because it's an absolute disaster. And I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'd probably underneath the fuck category would probably have to be the snoring wife or girlfriend, where it's like I just need a good night's sleep. I can't do it. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, dear, go to a second room. We're sleeping in different beds.
Sleep divorce is a real thing. Sleep divorce is a real thing.
Yeah. So it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it would just be best for both of us if we're just in two different rooms and we didn't keep each other up all night. You didn't keep me up. Maybe I'm snoring and keeping her up. Process of elimination, I couldn't do it. So unfortunately, I'll deal with those wet socks because I'd rather have a good night's sleep and not have to sit in bumper to bumper traffic and waste my gas. And I'll deal with the wet socks.
Are you a serial killer? You have to be a serial killer.
I very well might be.
If you choose white socks,
wet socks.
And back to the snoring, you know, you talking about sleep divorce, Ethan. It's honestly a miracle that my parents are still together then, because my dad saws logs, and we all are gonna get to hear it when we're all sleeping in the same hotel room in about a week. Actually, like 6 days.
Like the video I sent you the other day when you're on vacation with Dad. You just hear.
That leads me into mine, because I'm gonna marry Snore, because I already deal with it every night. I'm kidding. I love it. But
it's getting hot in that apartment.
Anything, so it doesn't faze me as much. We have a
Ethan,
yeah, you got that.
I bet you Hannah is just giving Ethan the Fran McCaffrey stare right
that's
now.
Just me. I came inside, so I wanted to make sure she heard it, and she did.
Oh God, that's good.
I'm gonna fuck with wet socks. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not great. Yeah. I'd rather not do it, but God forbid, I have the worst road rage ever, and I'll kill a bitch on the fucking road. I don't care. I'll put the ass in the ditch.
This is true.
I have zero fear of people getting in my way. I will make sure they know I'm there.
Ethan, if I can give you some free advice in your lifetime, never drive to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You will be in an accident. You will be in an accident before you can say accident.
So you're saying the Dallas-Fort Worth traffic is similar to the Dallas Cowboys, an accident waiting to happen?
An accident waiting to happen. Oh, yeah. But yeah, but you know, to your point, Dylan, I know you're looking at me crazy for saying wet socks. You know what? I think there might be one thing in the world worse than wet socks. Remember, you're in 4th and 5th grade. It's the wintertime. You're out with recess with your friends. You're playing a game called Smear the. We can't say that anymore because
we're going to play Smear the Queer.
Yep, Smear the Queer, and you get your jeans are wet, and from your ass down to your kneecaps. You just have wet jeans the rest of the afternoon because you didn't want to put your snow pants on. Wet jeans might be worse than wet socks.
Well, not if you don't wear jeans. I don't think I wore jeans from. The only time I had to wear jeans is when I went to Trinity, and I had to because it was the dress code. But in college, I could count, and you guys could attest to it. You could count on one hand the amount of times I actually wore pants.
That was it.
Oh, yes. But yeah, when you get wet jeans and wet ass, it's worse. It might be worse than wet socks.
I mean, it's not saying a whole lot, but I'm smarter than you because I always wore my snow pants out at recess because if we wore snow pants, we were allowed to play tackle football. So.
Oh, you know, well, we just didn't have rules in Minnesota then. We saved and sent it, baby. We just did whatever the hell we wanted in the snow. And I mean whatever.
Yeah. Snow wasn't the only white stuff on the ground, is what you're saying? Okay. Now it's peanut butter.
Now it's Jif, the industrial size thing of Jif.
All right, well then I suppose that's Grant talking about peanut butter is always a good way to end the show. So We'll have the segments of the show out on Friday. As always, check us out on all of our social medias, 3GTV Podcast. Facebook and YouTube is 3 Guys Talking Ball Podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe there. We are about two followers away from 200 people on Facebook. So go like us, help us get to 200 followers there. And we will be back next week with a interview with the former voice of the Bison, Brian Shawn. So that wraps up episode 84. Ethan, stand up, please.
Straight class, homie. Great night.
Everybody, one clap.